Alrighty guys, good afternoon. It is Thursday, December 13th. I did another video earlier this morning on getting ready to, prep all this and get it ready to be cut out. So as you can see, I have all these harnesses out. This is all put into the actual engine just to kind of get it out of the way. So this is actually, part of the same process of what would be involved if you're wanting to do a frame swap. So that's the purpose of this video, as I had a request on a comment. Someone was wanting some of the steps that would be involved from another set of eyes. So I haven't actually done a frame swap, nor, as you can see, do I have the space to do a frame swap. So I don't have a ton of experience and knowledge, but based on the experience and knowledge that I have just taking them apart, I'm going to do my best to explain what I think needs to be disconnected. And I could be wrong on some stuff. I'm totally cool with that. Just keep in mind that I might be wrong. So what I would do is, number one, you're going to need to disconnect your brake lines. And then also, I know that the front bumper does connect to some of the brackets that come off of this front piece. So I would personally say that you would want to remove probably your front and rear bumpers. Just the way that those attach to different places in the rear. And I'm going to crawl underneath in the rear and we can just kind of confirm that a little bit. So this video will probably be a little bit longer just because I'm going to go over some of the exterior and then also some of the interior. So for exterior, as I mentioned, we have these different wire harnesses that are plugged into the firewall. So I have those all pulled out, separated. I also have power steering reservoir that's been disconnected. So those are just a bunch of 12s, a bunch of random brackets that go to the AC. Those all get disconnected, pushed in, because this whole top piece is going to have to be lifted up essentially if you're using like a lift. Some people use like 50-gallon drums I've seen. I've had a few people send me different pictures and, videos and stuff that they've done. So they might be able to chime in, or other people might be able to chime in on the comments, hopefully, and just, confirm or, prove me wrong that, hey, you don't have to do that step or something. But as you can see, the brake booster disconnected. That gets pulled up, so I know that's going to need to be pulled. You also have your steering shaft, or steering column shaft, what have you. I imagine that will need to be disconnected. All of your brake lines. You're also going to want to disconnect the radiator from the actual shell, or yeah, I mean, you could do it that way, or you could maybe, I think that'd probably be the easiest way, is to disconnect the hoses from the thermostat and then just lift the actual radiator up with it. That way you're not having to unmount that. And then there's like a couple lines that are usually for, I think, like the return lines or what have you, for the power steering or transmission. I think it's the transmission lines. And then you have that line up there as well. This is for a V6. So process is kind of similar for the V8, but there's a bunch of little random, clips and bolts along the side of here that are going to have to get disconnected and pushed in. And I mean, you can choose which side of that line you want to disconnect from. You know, maybe some people might want to disconnect it from maybe over there and over here, or some people might want to just disconnect it from the whole wheel and set that whole stuff up inside. I mean, I guess there's a few ways that you can do it. You also do have 8 total body mounts, in case you guys don't know. There's 8. I'll go over those locations. You're gonna have one up front here, which you can see if we can find it. Here we go. So it's right up here, and it's kind of hidden with the reservoir. So once the reservoir is removed, you can get to that one. This one on driver's side, straight down. And if I recall, these are 17s. 17 or a 19. It's typically what they are for all of them. You have another one here on both sides. And then of course, in order to get to these and to do a nice clean job, I would say, you're probably going to want to remove the interior, just so you can actually pull everything back and get to those properly. And so I have some of the interior already pulled. So you have these side panels that need to get pulled, and you can see, you know, how much carpet is here. Like, you don't want to just try yanking this out because it's got little clips in it. And so if you pull out all the seats, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to, in my opinion, to get to what you need to get to for those particular areas. This one's up here, so it's right under this little rubber cap. So you don't have to remove the seats, I guess, to get to that one on the front. Kind of like second guessing what I'm saying here, so I apologize, guys. I'm just going along with it. Now for the rear, you have, let's see if I can get down here. So you can see that one sticking out right there. So this would essentially need to get pulled up, and then you could pull that carpet out and probably get to that one without pulling the seats out. But if you don't want to mess up certain clips and stuff, I mean, it just takes a little bit of time to pull the seats out. Like, you could probably pull all these seats out in a matter of, I mean, at least the important, like the bottom pieces and the fronts, you know, those should come out within a matter of like 15 minutes or so. So that's number 3. And then in the rear, it's usually, I can't really get to the rear right now, so it's got a bunch of, it's got these custom seats in it. But it's essentially right where that little D-ring is. There's another little hole under there, so you have to pull the carpet out from the rear or pull it up so that you can get to that spot, which, you know, has some Phillips screws.